Welcome to the green room, party people. Party. But, like we were talking about before, sneaking candy into the movie theaters. Some people, that can't have died just because I stopped going to the theaters, right? People still smuggle stuff in. I mean, how else are you going to get by on with a family for under $480 at the movies? Got a bit of a break from my smuggle movies into the movies now, just in case. So if you roll into something and it turns out to be boring, you can always flip open that phone, see what you got downloaded from Netflix or maybe YouTube Premium. I get you. I hope you bring in some headphones, though, because, I mean, not for nothing. I don't mind you watching a movie within a movie, because that's super meta, but, do it quietly. Oh, yeah, you always have to stop off at, like, the Walgreens or whatever your local thing is, like the CVS or whatever. And your mom would be like, okay, you can get, like, 2 things, so go nuts. And you run down the candy aisle, and you always regret one of the things, but that's okay, because the other one was typically good. I always got red vines. Those were a good go-to. And lemon heads, but then you regretted those because, like, if you were hungry, lemon heads wouldn't fill you up, but milk duds, forget about it, right, guys? Come to think of it, I can't think of the last time I was in a theater to see a movie. No telling, guys. I feel like we do movies for special occasions. People come in from out of town, take them to a movie, we'll risk, sitting on spent prophylactics and other sticky things in the movie theater. Speaking of, I hope you guys are getting your snacks open, finding your seats. We're still in the green room. I like to get a little time under our belt so everyone can show up, because we got to cater to the fashionably late. If Tony ever shows up, he's fashionable. I bought a new microphone, in case you're interested. It was $13. Looks just like the $100 microphone I bought, but even though it uses the same font as the style that it's ripping off, the name is Pyle, right? P-Y-L-E. I appreciate the clever spelling, but I'm hoping that's not what I spent $13 on, because the cable it came with looked like something you would... Oh, Tony's not fashionable. The cable it came with looks like something you would get for free with your first smartphone 15 years ago. Getting all the bells and whistles set up, folks. Keep finding cheaper and cheaper microphones. How soon before you have a mic that somehow paid you to take it out their hands? Hopefully soon. My cheapest one has been $1.75 because it was half off green tag sale at Goodwill. The mic was $3.50. I'm gonna whip that one out for you someday. Oh, so Thomas saw Oppenheimer this month. My elderly dad, who told me about 5 minutes in that Robert Oppenheimer was behind the research and development of the atom bomb. Let the movie tell me. I remember when Titanic was in theaters, right? And we had some exchange students from Japan, so they were all gaga for Leonardo DiCaprio. So like, I didn't want to go see it, so I didn't. My parents took them, like, as a big flock, and relayed the story that somebody in line was lamenting about how sad it was that it sank, obviously, the Titanic, right? When someone further ahead of them in line became irate because the movie was now ruined. They had no idea about the Titanic and its sinking. So they got out of line. And the Japanese kids enjoyed every minute of that 3 hours, though. All right, kids, it's about time to buckle up, so get ready. Oh, I should change to my good graphic. Hold on. I make these things, and I should use them. Yeah, look at that for a second. Isn't that great? The neon, the flickers. Man, I love that thing. So we'll take a couple of minutes to really soak that in. Because, I was also, like, right before I went live right now, I saw that Hamburger Helper released a little Sarah Boone video or letter reading. I'm not sure yet. I haven't even cracked it open yet, but hopefully that'll come up on the next one. Titanic was a successful voyage until that night. True, isn't it always? I mean, Rome was doing fine until it burnt down. Kind of a rough night that was. All right, guys, I think everything is warmed up. Let's fade this out and get this started.
I made some spaghetti, but I dropped some sauce on the floor.
God.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Welcome to the show. My name is Dave. This is FFOP Radio. We're doing FFOP Radio live as usual on Friday. In studio, of course, my producer and co-host, Krista.
That's me.
We're enjoying a lovely Merv Berry Blast, which is oddly... Here's the thing. I didn't intend it to be carbonated, but it's slightly effervescent, and it's kind of nice.
It's weird, because this is the last bottle of it, so...
So maybe there was a little bit of sugar left after we bottled it, and now it's just enough to give it that champagne pop. Boy, oh boy. Mervin, he'll surprise you. Anyway, we don't have any Deacon's Defense Minute. I imagine he was busy this week or something along those lines, so we don't have that, but... let me preload your chamber for this. So we're doing the two-part confession of Heidi Matheny. And to give a little context, it'll pretty much come out in the wash here, but she killed her grandma. Mm-hmm. And when she tells it... in her words, it feels like she was doing a mercy killing or like she snapped and was trying to spin it afterwards. For my studio shelves. Oh, what the hell? Sorry. The tape fell. There's Kayla's name. So yeah, I totally forgot about that because it blew down. There's your name, Kayla, because Kayla won the game last Wednesday. Immortalized for a week here.
Poor tape job.
Ta-da! I tried to do it in such a way you couldn't see the tape, so it would just be there and not look tacky. But it's tacky as hell now. There you go, Kayla.
Moderator Kayla with the wrench and everything.
Kayla for the win. I don't remember the score, but it was captured for posterity.
A lot. It was a lot.
Pretty big. But so anyway, yeah, she killed her grandma, and I don't know if this is one of those like dysfunctional family things that sort of meta head. I don't know why, but I've tied this thing, this interaction, this crime, this whatever you want to call it, in with COVID, because I feel like COVID locked a bunch of people in places and a lot of people did stuff that they would not have normally. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's like
Stuck in close quarters and
and
stir crazy.
She'll sort of tell you what's going on, but enough ado. Let me get everything loaded up here. So what you're going to see is she basically, after the deed and taking some time, I can't remember if she called 911 and then walked to the police or walked to the police and turned herself in. We'll find out. But here, this is it, guys. So buckle up.
Hey, how you doing?
Connected.
You here for her?
Right, because like, whoa. Oh, P.S. You can see across the screen there, interrogation files, woefully undersubscribed to. Go and give them a subscription. We were also listening to White Bat Audio earlier. Give them a subscribe as well. But seriously, all the interrogations on this channel are top notch, and if you don't want to hear me talk over them, they're woefully underseen.
Yeah, me too. She said the back window was open. Okay. So what's going on?
Yeah, probably. Felt like I put the dog down.
1211.
This Matheny, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Alright. So,
Are you going to be responding to the residents to check on the female? Right. What? According to the female, the doors are locked. However,
So we're probably never going to see this on this channel again, but this is someone genuinely affected by the thing that they did.
Yeah.
Like usually what we see is somebody trying to kickflip a murder into like a, I wasn't even there sort of a deal. Like the reason why this is so compelling to me is because it just does feel like this person was leaned on far too hard by far too many people.
Yeah.
back window is unlocked where you can gain entry. I believe she may
Is
be down
this-
about 45, 50 minutes.
Talking about her house?
Probably. So we're seeing the body cam footage and we're
Right.
going to be hearing everything that the radio says for the rest of
Why doesn't he turn it off?
time. I imagine you can if you're on whatever.
do you have a key to the apartment?
1758.
Make sure that somebody keep an eyes on her in the lobby so she doesn't leave.
I don't think she's gonna leave.
This is real.
Like, it wouldn't hurt for the dude to show a little tact and be like, copy that. I'm literally sitting next to her and she can hear all of this.
Yeah.
Over.
Well, I'm sorry. A lot of police officers, when they're doing something with a person, like intimately with a person, they turn off their thing. Like, I
The
understand.
radio?
Yeah, they turn it off because it's fucking annoying and loud for all parties involved.
Right, but
I guess it's about her, so I guess he kind of needs to have an ear.
that's
but
the thing. We can't put ourselves in this situation because how many times, like,
they probably are just like, this is weird.
like what's protocol for someone who walks in and confesses to a murder? Like,
Right.
usually you have to like pound the pavement and then whatever. Like, it obviously happens because a bunch of people have done it to like, for strategic reasons or whatever. But this is going to be a genuine ride through a woman's hell.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, if she was that kind of person, maybe having her here was intentional. Maybe.
I don't know, man, because she just rolls up and like is not violent. She's just like, I need to turn myself in for this. And they're like, I understand what she's saying is like a heinous thing.
But she could have been the person who was like, I don't know what happened. She's old and she just died.
At the very least, turn down the damn radio.
Yeah.
Out there at this time.
I'm sorry? Okay.
Don't have
with
time to
her in the
chit-chat.
lobby, if you could let the deputies know. And then,
Couldn't have said that earlier?
Yeah.
if you want, we'll come over here, okay? Miss Matheny.
Come sit in the corner.
Because like, yo, what do you do?
1204, I couldn't copy. That was for me.
Yeah, if you don't mind, just let the deputies know that I'm here with her.
Tell them to shut up on the radio, please.
Here you go, Miss Matheny.
I know.
You guys got an interview room down here?
Yes, we do.
All right. It's all the way down, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you want it?
Yes, please.
Do you want it? I'm just asking just for shits.
Hello, lady.
You took over on the admin side.
Affirmative.
It kind of feels like she knows where to go.
Yeah. Well, they said all the way down at the end, so.
8 and 11, if you weren't clear, then you have the female
Oh, I passed it
over
up.
in the roadside.
Pass it up. It's right for you.
All right. Do you mind to search that for me?
No,
since
I
you
can
guys
do
got
that.
gloves?
Do you want us in or out?
Okay,
If you
so
want to come in.
spoiler alert, I'll probably scrub past her search because, like, I don't know why it's hilarious when they have to tell Jeff Stacy or Steven Westerbeck to, like, put his head and, like, tell him everything they're going to do. But when this woman does it, it just feels like it's like a preschool teacher and a preschooler playing cops and robbers where she's like, okay, I'm going to run my hands up and down the inside and outside of your leg. I mean, we'll get to it, but boy, oh boy.
Come in, that's fine. Miss Matheny, have a seat.
Also, my dude's got a cold. He'll bring it up a lot.
Here you go, Christy.
Right.
We're looking at Heidi Matheny, Allison Marie Armstrong. She held her grandmother in the kitchen sink until the bubbles stopped.
I have a little bit of a cold.
1749.
Yeah, absolutely.
See if I can get her some more.
Yeah, get me one
She
too. I got a
she
cold.
might need some more.
Like, hello. He's snotting it up from cold, and she just had a horrifying experience.
Yeah.
Miss Matheny, I apologize. I forget your first name. Heidi Matheny. My glasses are bent. They're not
Detective man, now I don't mean to alarm you, but in account of the murder and all, you're in a situation we'd normally describe in our career as sticky.
Right. Boy, oh boy. But here's the thing, right? Like, my heart goes out for this type of person. Like in the true crime genre or the milieu, this type of person who just like snaps, just like due to unfair circumstances that, you know, you weren't taught to deal with properly or whatever, and you go off the deep end and something like this happens. It's kind of sobering because you can say, oh my God, if that can happen, it can happen to anybody, literally, because if you snap, you don't know what your breaking point is. And we'll see this person's breaking point, but like, think back in your own memory. Have you been close to snapping? Like, could you feel yourself be like, right?
Hamburger says, do you know why she did it? I never heard of this case.
Okay, so not really. Like, she'll get to it. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's just like she didn't like being called every day by her, so she'd have to go over and talk to her and basically deal with her. That's what I'm saying. She'll sort of kick flip this into a mercy killing, but it's more like a frustrated end of your rope sort of murder.
Yeah.
Know what I mean?
Well, so
Gonna blow my nose again. Sorry, ma'am.
Right into the camera.
1800.
Like, damn.
So I tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and open this door.
But seriously, like, as you look at her face right there, we brought this up a while ago, a couple of shows ago or whatever, like hitting an animal with your car or stepping on something with your foot. Like, imagine that and like having it wreck the rest of your day and be like, oh my God. And then crank that up to 1,000,000 when you just drowned your own grandmother.
Yeah, I give her respect for going to the police station. But I mean, obviously,
but that's the thing that belies her underlying character. At least to me, it feels like the fact that she goes, "Oh my God, I did something terrible because I was at my wit's end and I've got to turn myself in," is antithetical to most of the people we see here.
Oh yeah.
Door okay.
Oh.
You don't think Sarah Boone was gonna turn herself in because George died?
Yeah,
So
if she could have, like, if there was something like a spray can of something that she could have sprayed on George and made him disappear, she would have just been like, oh, well, this suitcase is going to Goodwill anyway.
On your own free will to talk to me, correct? Okay. And you still want to talk to me? Okay. So what happened? Oh, thank you. We're kind of...
I just put her head in the sink and held it there. We fought, but I held it there until she quit blowing bubbles, and then I drug her to the couch.
225 East Summers
Blowing bubbles, so I put her in the
appears to
bathtub
be
until she
a
stopped.
single residence.
Okay, and this is your grandmother?
Yeah.
What is her name?
Let me confirm the address. 1204.
Alice?
Shut up, people.
So there you have it, basically, right? She was like an 80-plus-year-old woman. She fought into the sink as she was having her death throes and probably already dead. She then put her in the bathtub. And I think she's still in the bathtub at this point. We play a game of musical chairs, right? That's what I'm saying. Turn your damn radio down. It's an interrogation, man. Spit your gum out, turn your radio down, and pull your head out of your ass.
Case closed.
Unit 3.
We're
Is that the right
done.
address, 225 of affirmative? I thought you were living at Prestwick. Is that
I used to live at
1211, were you correct?
okay?
Right, I'm clear on it.
Isn't it wild that, like, when the police are trying to finger you for a crime, they'll bend over backwards to be like, just tell us you fucking did it. But, like, when this poor lady comes in basically offering herself up on a silver platter because she's at wit's end and like, what do you do now?
Yeah.
They go, well, let's slow down and take it easy and we'll do some things and we'll check some stuff. And like, it's so weird.
This is the first time the precinct investigated or interrogated anyone.
So here's the thing. They're flying blind because she showed up at a place I don't think that they have the wherewithal to deal with, because this dude, this detective or whoever we're seeing the body cam footage of, isn't from here. He had to be shown to this room. So they must have called somebody with expertise. So that's what this guy must be.
That, or I wonder if like he's called from wherever her jurisdiction is, and so they had to go to this precinct. That's where she showed up to.
I want to say this is Wisconsin, Hamburger. Can you look this up? I want to say it was Wisconsin.
Heidi Matheny.
Heidi
Matheny.
So, even though you came in to talk to me on your own free will and
We got to read your rights.
making these statements, I'm going to go ahead and read you your rights, okay?
I'm going to go ahead and skip past the part where he's holding the card because we all know these by heart.
5 is going to be just a single residence. Can you advise me further?
Is it on the south side of the road or the north side of the road?
South.
It's on the south.
It's a 4-unit apartment building right next to the Methodist church, just east of the Methodist church.
The brick.
This is like the scene from in 7 when Kevin Spacey showed up in the police precinct and turned himself in, but coded in pure science. Yeah, that's the thing. Because what do you, if you are dyed-in-the-wool law enforcement and you are a cop that chases robbers, you know, ergo infinitum, like it always has been. We've always had the do-gooders chasing the baddies. What do you do when the baddie shows up and you know, basically plops a crime in your lap?
Brick ones? Okay. It is the brick apartments.
Oh, it's
just east
Matheny.
of the
Yeah.
Methodist
Ohio.
Church on the south side.
Ohio.
Kinda
She was
north to
93.
south.
Okay.
Apartments, and it's number 3.
Ohio, classic. The King of Akron lives in Ohio. I'm not going to mention any names.
And it's number 3, and you can enter through the back window of apartment number 3.
You were broken. Try that one again.
God, just imagine what she's thinking. Like, what is she envisioning right now as you see these faces play across the front of her skull? Like,
No.
because that's the thing. You can be driven to do something in anger or fear or whatever, and then have to be burdened with the memory of that if you don't have the presence of mind to pull your head from your ass.
Right.
And it might be just something as simple as like being embarrassed or killing your grandmother in the sink. It's Miller time.
It is the brick apartment building east of the Methodist Church on the south side of the road. It's the one that kind of runs north and south. It's apartment 3. And
As you
can
listen
enter
to this guy, though, you can see why they sent him in. He's very calm. His voice is very non-threatening. He has a temperament for this, so I can see.
If you had a hothead in there, she'd probably completely freak.
So if they're in the middle of nowhere, Ohio, and like this is their interrogation room, they were probably like, "Oh my God, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened here. Who do we call? It's this guy."
Right. He's a cardboard cutout.
I do, yeah. Isn't the Supreme logo on her chest a little jarring? It's almost like product placement in a movie a little bit. It feels weird.
335.
Yeah, it's a cardboard cop cutout they just put there so they don't. Oh no, he moved. So they don't get away.
To number 4 here. If you can't afford.
Oh my God, we're not there yet.
Address
Will
is
be
335
appointed
East
to
Summers.
represent you for any question if you wish. You can decide at any time to exercise these rights and not answer any of these questions or statements. So, this is your mother, your grandmother. Is it on your mother's side or your father's side?
They're like comfortable shoes at least.
Mm-hmm.
So, what happened today to lead to this?
Seriously.
Nothing special. It's just a day like every other day. We went to the doctor yesterday, and the doctor.
Seriously, I bring that
None
up
of
all the
them.
time. Why do they have to pull out the card, right? I know the Miranda rights. I can recite them to you right now if you wanted them to. I could probably do them backwards. But they always have to pull out the card to be like, "Oh, I got to read you this because of the technicality now down boo over or whatever." But dudes and dudettes of law enforcement, tell me, somebody, if you're in the know, let me know. If you're a cop, you have to hold the card like it's some policy and procedure so that they know that you know that there's a card. Please. But I feel like the things are it's not hard. Come on, man, it's your job.
It's like 4 lines.
Everyone knows what the 3-point shot is in the basketball. Remember your
we can put her into a nursing
Miranda
home if
rights.
That's what she wants. But we
Dude, the door looks like a little bit like Patton Oswalt.
can't afford that. It's $289 a day. Her insurance won't cover it.
That's a
because she
lot a
owns the
day.
house, but her sons are fighting over it, and it's freaking condemned almost. It's a fucking nightmare. And I'm sick of seeing her. She's stressed out. She has panic attacks every damn day.
Guilty.
She shouldn't have to live like that.
Correctional address is 325.
So,
325.
so you decided to take her life today.
Where are you out?
Yikes, right? What?
And you did it by just drowning her, correct? Okay, so what time did this happen?
Well, I also think about this too, because maybe you've been close to this where you get to the point of no return. Maybe you are having a temper tantrum and you get to that point where you can't stop anymore. So you have to throw the plate on the ground and break it, or you have to kill your grandmother. There are so many steps along the way for you as a human to be like, whoa, wake up, fool.
Yeah.
But once you lay hands on your grandma, that envelope is sealed and
The
stamped
point
with
of
wax.
no return.
Yeah, because then what do you do? At that point, your psyche must break, and you go, "This is for the greater good of us all, especially grandma who's going into the sink."
Maybe an hour ago, hour and a half ago.
Did you walk up here?
I did.
Yeah, she walks right to the police station. See, I didn't even think she called.
Guys out just a little bit here. Who else lives in that apartment?
I do like the detective over here with the Morticia Adams shock of gray. This is not for nothing. Whatever. We'll call their skills into play or whatever, into question rather. Classic looking bunch of characters. We got Morticia the cop, Patton Oswalt the cop, and our
dude,
and our faceless dude who's a nice.
Got a cold. That's all.
He feels like a mild Southern. He's got Southern charm, but there's no he doesn't have a Savannah accent. It doesn't feel like he's a hayseed or anything.
Her son lives next door with his girlfriend, and then her kids live in the other apartments.
So who lives in apartment 3? Is that your apartment?
That's just her apartment.
That's her apartment. She owns a house.
And a cat.
And a cat. Okay. And nobody else was present during this?
No.
I decided not to invite the rest of the family.
Why did you do it? Do you know?
Because she keeps calling me that. she keeps calling me. And she wants me to sit there and listen with her and like just every day. And I do it every day.
That's what weirds me out, people. Like, in your life, you probably know someone who does everything that everyone asks of them, right? That's a super dangerous situation because that's how we got here with Heidi. Like, we just sort of take for granted that most people won't snap and murder us, but I don't like to roll those bones. You know what I mean? Like, if I feel like I'm becoming a burden on someone unnecessarily and repeatedly, I'll back off because I know that, humans are complicated, and something like this, like, you don't know what's going on in somebody's life that you interact with for the, 99.99 for infinitum rest of their life.
Yeah. Thomas says, whenever I want to murder the elderly, I just take a deep breath and don't murder them.
Right. You just take a deep breath. You go, this is my grandma. Even if she's annoying, I'll just tell her I can't come over today. But that might be part of if you're in a toxic family that
right.
you have been bred to take it.
You feel obligated to do it because the others won't.
No one takes no for an answer. That's a lot of families like that. And they center not typically, but most of the ones I've seen are glued together by a matriarchal figure, like a grandmother or a mother type figure that everyone just sort of gets along with each other in front of.
Right. That was my grandfather.
But then there's that one that is just like the matriarch that rules with a withered, gnarled old fist that everybody just sort of deals with because of tradition or culture or whatever. And that's where you get tied up in this sort of crap. You can only wipe your feet on a rug for so long before, the rug gains sentience and kills you.
Well, and you heard her say, her son, her grandmother's son lives right next door.
Right. It's just a bunch of family problems. And
they don't want to deal with her.
It's an all too familiar dynamic where the kids don't care and it's left to the grandkids, and then whoever it is that you have to rely upon utterly, like if you don't make plans or you just let yourself go and you go, well, my kids or my grandkids will take care of me, this is the risk you run with that. Yeah. Unless you're a really good person, in which case you're probably fine. People like to paint the victims as angels and with wings and playing flutes and they never did a bad thing in their life. But there's more to this dynamic than just a lady killed her grandma.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. I'm going to kill myself. That's where I'm at. I almost went with her, but I can't drown myself.
Okay. So you started in the bathroom sink.
In the kitchen sink.
In the kitchen sink. Was she just standing there?
Yeah.
And
this kind of feels a little bit like a Bethesda video game because presumably he is facing the same way his camera is because that's going to be lined up to his body. She's not facing him. She's not facing Morticia, and she's not facing Patton. It's just it's like having a chat with an Ubisoft figurine or character.
Walking around in Skyrim and
yeah, like it's a
you just came up from
Black Flag character.
And just put her head in the sink. And when you said you did that until she quit blowing bubbles, and then you moved her onto the couch, but you thought maybe she wasn't dead at that time, so then you took her into the bathtub. Was there water in the bathtub already?
No.
Did you run bath?
I did.
And so where was your grandmother at while you were running the bath water? On a couch. Because, like, not for nothing, but, like, having such a break from reality, I can't. Because you go, well, didn't you stop to think, like, your grandmother was on the couch blowing bubbles with soapy Dawn water coming out of her face and you were filling a bathtub? Like, by this time, you are so divorced from reality. Like, what is anything? Like, at this point, you're just mechanically trying to finish a job.
Yeah.
I feel like she is.
Thomas says, I despise the murderers who go, oh, I tried to kill myself, but it didn't work. Didn't it really?
Yeah, that's the thing. There are so many people who say that because they go, I tried to kill myself. And I get... She was off the deep end, and maybe it's bullshit. Maybe she's legitimately considered it in the past when that was all happening. But like the ones like Tony Tote or anybody who has a gun or a knife to hand and they kill a bunch of people with that tool or those tools, and they go, I was going to kill myself, but I just couldn't. And I go, weird. You were able to muster up the courage to snuff out anybody between 1 and 5 other people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, after you filled up the water, how much water did you put in there? Bathtub?
That must have taken a while, though.
And then did you carry her to the bathroom? Okay.
Yeah, she's only 93. She probably weighs less than 9 pounds.
Yeah.
For what I felt was 15 minutes. And then
Face up or face down?
Face down.
Face down. Was her whole body in the tub or just part of it? Okay. And then what happened after that?
I left and came here.
Okay, so she's in the bathtub right now. Is that correct? Ms. Matheny? Okay. All right.
Yeah, like what do you say to that, right?
All right, well.
Jesus.
Do you have anything on you shouldn't have? Any weapons or knives or drugs or anything? Okay. Do you mind if I have this female pat you down real quick?
This is a female. You may be familiar with her. I'll give you a little taste of her pat down because it is a huge chunk. Like, where are we at right now? We're 11 minutes into 15 minutes. The next 4 minutes are probably her getting her ass touched by this lady detective.
This goddamn female.
We're going to have you patted down by this goddamn female and let him in the police. Oh, it's pretty. You get your roots done. Oh my gosh.
Right, back behind the ears. And I'm going to check your arms. Just like that.
And then just like this.
Give you a little massage right here. How's that feel? You're really tense.
This feels like another nail in the coffin of like, this is a police station that doesn't see much action, because by the time you've done your 100th frisk, you're not telling them every movement your hand makes along their body.
Yeah.
That's why, like, this is probably within the first dozen of her frisks, and since she is advanced in age,
I'm wondering if, like, maybe this is like a partially new precinct. I mean, look at the folding table out in the hallway, and like,
no,
it looks like a wet paint.
All small town police stations like would look like this. There's just like, or they'll build a big municipal building and they'll don't know what to do with it because like there's no crime or whatever. This is just like, this is that. Like, they're totally unprepared to deal with this.
This might have been Eaton, Ohio. I don't know how big Eaton is. I've heard of it before, but security office at the Orlando Airport Marriott feels like it would go harder than these folks.
Right? Like, I've gone through airport security where they were rougher with my genitals than this lady is on any part of Heidi's body. Anyway, let's skip ahead to past the... Because basically the end of, or the rest of this is going to be a nothing burger. So what I'm going to do is we're going to skip to part 2. So this is after her processing. She's been in jail for a little bit. And this is a... I guess an official interrogation by someone who's not just doing it with a snotty nose and a body cam.
Oh, it's a different cop too?
It's a completely different thing. Like, we'll get it loaded up here, but you can... Let me make sure. Yeah, because it prefaces a little bit with the... There we go. Yeah, so this is going to be like regular interrogation footage. It's going to be in a room... Static shot, nobody blowing the nose or listening to the radio.
Toilet paper is still there.
Toilet paper is still there. You got to bring the toilet paper. But she's had a little time to sort of digest what's going on. And you'll see.
She changed chairs.
Right? Okay, can you hear me? Yeah. Okay.
Can you hear me?
The right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against
Again?
you in a court of law.
Every time they go into an interrogation, you have to be Mirandized. I just watched an interrogation of a guy who was recently interrogated for a murder he committed in 1989, and he's been in prison since 1992. They still Mirandize his ass.
You talk to a lawyer and have him or her present with you while being questioned. If you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before questioning if you wish, at the cost.
He's never read these before.
He's got the card. Like, hello? Is it just a small town problem?
Okay. But we already covered that before. I just want to make sure. All right?
So listen to this dude's voice. It kind of sounds like the dude from before, but I don't think it's the same dude. Because
I don't know.
This guy doesn't look like he's wearing a body cam or chasing anybody down.
So, I know you already talked to Sergeant Eversole, okay? But if you would,
there we go.
Just walk me through your day. Okay, what time did you get up today? 7 a.m.? Okay.
Not for nothing, but I feel like it's getting more and more uncommon, this whole like start me at the beginning of your day. Like, unless someone is completely intractable, like there's a dude who maybe you've seen his footage out there. He was a police chief somewhere and like is completely like straight up like, I don't want to talk about nothing. Like, then maybe start at the day or start at the beginning of the day and talk about the weeding you did and feeding the chickens, right? If someone walks into your precinct and goes, I did this, 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 and this, you didn't go, well, whoa. The alarm goes off. What time is it, Heidi? Breakfast time. You got some blueberry in the pantry?
And what'd you do today?
I just kind of hung out in my room. I went to the grocery this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I got bacon and eggs and a pie and some ice cream and some milk for my grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it over
Alice,
there.
right? Okay.
Spoiler alert, here's why he's doing it. Because she is wigging out. And the way to bring someone back to reality is to make them focus on mundane stuff.
Well, yeah, I'd be freaking out if I snapped and killed somebody and then brought myself to jail and then had to get searched, had to get changed.
Right.
And this is all the same day, same night.
And like that's the thing. My diatribe still stands because it's often misused as a tactic. But she is wigging. So this guy is reading the room and being like, hey, let's slow things down. Which is like, if the first dude with his body cam were like detective material, he would have been doing this stuff. He wouldn't have been like, okay, so you literally just murdered them. Let's go over that.
Let's talk about the sink.
Let's compound your post-traumatic stress disorder of you killing a blood relative that was insanely close, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
I took it over there.
About what time?
Maybe 7:30.
None
7:30 in the
ya?
morning? Okay.
She was asleep, so I left and went back home.
And that's over at, what, 310 West Spring Street, right? Okay. And you walk, right? You don't drive?
I do drive.
You do drive? Okay. So did you drive or walk today?
This morning I drove.
Okay.
I just was in my room the rest of the day.
Okay. And then, so how did...
But just like really quick, look at her demeanor and the fact that she's not making crazy faces or anything. Mm-hmm. Like, this is actually working. I know that rapport building comes up a lot on this channel, but it's important as much as I give it shit. In certain instances, even though it doesn't seem like it's working, it is. Like, there won't be as a large a contrast as Heidi here. But, like, this is probably the break her mind needed, because as she's not being talked to, she's thinking about what she did. And when she is being talked to, it's being about what she did.
Could you imagine? I can't imagine the thoughts going through her head while she was walking to the police station after she did it.
It's insane, people.
How did you happen to go back over to your grandmother's, Alice Matheny's apartment today?
She called me, and I...
About what time was that?
I don't know, maybe 3-ish. I ignored the call,
Oh, why would you ignore a call?
Last night I had a
Hello, I murdered her earlier today. I was trying to get some breathing room, detective. Yikes.
mental health evaluation with Social Security
Where was that at?
over the phone.
Over the phone?
I can tell it.
Uh-huh.
And the last question they asked me on that exam was if you saw a 2-year-old at the end of the pier all by himself, what would you do? And I don't know. And so she reiterated the question and said, well, what could happen?
I could push him into the water.
I said, well, I guess that 2-year-old could drown, so I'd have to pick it up. And I just thought about that all night, all day.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Okay. So, what time did you get to Grandma Alice's house today, or apartment rather?
I don't know what time it was. Whatever time this happened, as soon as I got there.
Paisley was there. Was Paisley already inside the apartment?
No,
Okay.
she wasn't there.
What's up, Matt Willis?
Hey.
Ice cream.
12:11 to 12:13.
Because she wanted to have some ice
The radio still plays a major part in the second interrogation, too.
cream. She said, well, I noticed that you showed up this morning and you had my refrigerator was all full of snacks. You want to eat some snacks?
Mm-hmm.
So we sat down and we ate some snacks. And then...
How was that conversation? Was she crabbing at you, or
No,
was she
she
just...
was, it was,
had a good day?
Yeah.
It was a good day, okay.
Yesterday we went to the...
Like Sarah Boone, it started out as a good day. Like Detective Scott says, I hate to see a bad day.
The doctor, and she's like, we went out to eat after, and she doesn't get out much, so she thanked me, and she's like, this is the best day that I've had in so long.
Okay.
I don't know, after we ate ice cream, she went up to do dishes.
Mm-hmm.
She offered to do the dishes. She usually does if I cook.
You're at the sink, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
and I just lost my shit.
Okay. Now, let me ask you.
Okay. What's up with that?
I'll give you a moment. Okay.
Yeah, she's gonna need a couple minutes.
Full on, like, wigging out hardcore. Okay, well, let me give you a moment there. You seem like you're having a bit of a struggle. Hello?
It makes me want to cry seeing her.
Here's the thing, like, detectives, it just feels like there needs to be an element of personability. If you're going to be a detective, like, you can't just be good at finding things. You have to be good at peopling, and
Yeah, I don't know if going through like the police academy and stuff, if they take, I'm assuming they have to take like psychology classes.
I'm sure
and
they
things like that.
Well,
I would hope in my heart, I would hope that they would take some sort of.
Again, it might be from place to place, but it just feels like you get good at something, and they go, "Oh, you might be good at this too."
Yeah.
We got tissues.
We're eating.
Okay.
Eating. Mitten.
It's nothing that she did. She's not she's a perfect freaking grandma.
Okay.
She doesn't stop bothering
you. Or anything. She just had her back seat doing the
Okay.
Anyway.
You're having a total mental breakdown. Okay.
Okay. And where were you standing at?
Right next to her.
Right next to her, to the right or to the left of her?
You know,
she's freaking out, and you're like, "Were you to the right or
right?
left?"
His only string to his bow seems to be like focusing on minutia, where now we should probably be like identifying emotionally.
Yeah. Detective mentally checked off hysterical broad in his mental registry and knows it can all be solved with a stern "suck it up, darling."
And he definitely threw a check mark into the box that's probably on the rag, right?
I think it was to her left.
Okay. And so, how full was the sink? Do you
It
remember?
was full.
Full?
I filled it
There
up
it
the
is.
rest of the way.
Okay. So you put more water in it?
Yeah.
Okay. And so why did you put more water in it?
Because while I was doing it, the thing moved, and then I
And so you
saw that there was
continued
no water, and
to-
then I just instead of building up.
Okay, I got you. So, how do you have her? Do you have her
By the hair.
by the hair?
And then I
Okay.
picked her up and I put her on the counter and I put her in the water.
So, let's back up real quick.
God, just
She's been a tiny lady.
Imagine your grandmother
No.
picking her up and putting her on the counter so you can smash her face into the sink. And this is like something she thought was going to be like, maybe it's just after the fact, but like this was like a mercy, like you can't live like this anymore.
Yeah, you saw her.
Let's try to maintain
dirty.
our composure, okay? Because I want to get the absolute correct story from you, okay? So
That's not how to
you're
get
the
it.
leftover, and then how did the idea just come into your head? Do you remember?
I just,
Okay.
See, here's the thing. This poor woman deserves a 5-hour interrogation like Cheyenne What's-Her-Nuts got, or Christopher Fosmer got, or any of these people got, that, I mean, at least for the sake of themselves, are led gently down a path toward resolution in the cop's eyes.
Yeah, this is 20 minutes.
This is 20 minutes, and we're 6 minutes in, and he's already like, okay, go. So you shoved your head in the water. Keep going. Let's and then, you know, like, hello?
Yeah. And are they trying to see if it was premeditated at all? I mean, it obviously wasn't.
No, they're just looking for details so that this is a slam dunk, and they can put a big check mark in their case file.
And so you grabbed her by the hair, and then you pushed her head under the water, and the water started running out. And so you physically started putting more water in there, correct?
No, I mentally.
And what kind of struggle? Was she struggling?
she was struggling.
Okay.
She's strong.
Did you strike her or anything like that? You didn't? No? You just was able to overpower her and hold her under the water?
She's 93 years old.
Okay. And then you held her under the water until when? How long did you hold her head under the water?
Maybe 5-10 minutes.
5 or 10 minutes at the sink?
It was a while.
At the sink? Okay. Or did you notice if any bubbles were still coming out? Or
That's what I tried. Like, I just...
And so then after that, you took her and did you drag her to the couch, or did you pick her?
Thomas says, I'll say this. My mom uses crying as a weapon to get what she wants. School of Catholic guilt.
Classic.
So I get being able to read crying as a tactic and be like, you stop with that fake shit and talk to me. I don't think that's that. This is that, though.
Yeah. Depending on what you're referring to, it definitely feels like she is it's crazy, man. Like, here's the thing. Look into your own family, or look into the families of your friends when you were growing up, or even now. You probably have come into contact with a toxic family that sticks together for some reason that is ethereal and probably bullshit. This is what happens when all of that falls away.
Yeah.
Like, when you just snap and it's no longer... Because, like, Sherry Papini or Jodi Arias or any of these other people who come in and cry and they go, oh, I can't, but especially Sherry Papini. Holy shit.
Oh my
Now
God.
that felt like whatever. It's complicated.
Lay her on the couch. Okay. And then what?
Then what?
She started, like, bubbling.
Okay. So she was breathing again at that point?
I think so.
Yeah.
She probably wasn't. That was probably
And then
like
the
death
fucking
rattles.
phone goes off. It's like, oh, the radio. And then my phone. Doe. And he's like, oh, yeah, P.S. I kept it the classic stock T-Mobile ringtone because I'm a cool cop.
Sorry about that.
Whoops.
So, okay,
Professionalism.
So we were talking about she's on the couch, and then you thought that she was still breathing, right? And so what was going through your head at that point? Maybe we could stop this?
No, I wanted her to be at rest.
Okay. So it was your intention at that point, while she was laying on the couch, and you thought that she possibly could still be alive, to go ahead and continue doing what she was doing. Okay. All right. Did she make any movement or anything like that? Just bubbles out of her mouth and nose? Okay.
This is what happens in a lot of murder cases is like the person is dead, but like stuff still happens. Like your body is still warm. There are living organisms still within you producing gas, or maybe, there's a change in temperature or whatever, and there'll be bubbles or something will change and happen.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Okay, folks, let me get Matheny back up here.
Okay. So it was your intention at that point, while she was laying on the couch, and you thought...
Boop. Let's get back to where we were.
I got you. So as you were holding her in the water, you were holding her down by her chest, correct? Okay. And then was there any struggle under the water at that point?
She was dead.
She did have some scratches, but that's probably from getting her into the bathtub.
Okay.
Just that metal rack.
Okay.
Yikes.
You said you rolled her face down while she's in the tub?
Okay. And why did you do that?
Why?
I mean, why did you roll her over though?
So she would drown better.
To the top.
Okay. Why was the window open?
Because that's where I went left. Out the window.
Why'd you leave out the window?
Because I didn't want anybody to see me leave. Because I wanted to come straight here.
Huh.
Did you have any intention of this, to do this before you went over?
No.
Because I was told by family members that on Sunday that you had told Alice that this will be the last meal that we all have together. And more than one person.
I did make a big meal for everybody.
Yeah. And you never said that this is going to be the last meal that we have together? Okay.
But I did make a meal and I fed it to everybody.
Okay.
So do you think that that's true? Like, here's the thing. There's so many pieces. And if you live in a toxic family, they might just be willing to throw you under the bus for a laugh.
Right.
So they could, God knows. I don't want to speculate, but I'm just playing devil's advocate. Like, if somebody were a troublesome family member and they were already in trouble via their own means, it wouldn't be hard to just dogpile on them.
Mm-hmm.
So did you have intention to do this ever before you went over there?
I will admit that me and her have discussed it. Like she's come to me and it was this point of hysteria. So I dismissed it and I kept dismissing it. She would be crying, having panic attacks, and she'd just kill me. And it's we say I don't know, we all say that, but
is that true?
But we have had that emotional distress conversation. I mean, I know I'm a fucking nut, but she gets upset too. It's
right.
stressful. And,
well, I understand.
And I felt like she was, and this crossed my mind too. One day I was walking down the street and there's this dog, and it's a white old dog, and it reminds me of her hair. Mm-hmm. And I lived in Tucson at the time, and it was bobbing in and out of traffic on a 5-lane freeway. I'm sitting there at the bus stop. Mm-hmm. So I run across the street and I pick up this dog, and it's biting at me and snapping at me because it's scared to death. I take it home with me. and it's like it's got diarrhea, it's dehydrated, it's sick, been stranded in Tucson. There's no humidity, so I take this dog.
Classic. If she's talking about the Tucson that I live near, she's right. It's hot down there.
To the vet, and the vet said that dog was just really old, and it probably left its home to go die. Like, that's probably what it did. So that's what I was thinking too. It's like she's just.
So were you thinking that before you went over there? That you needed to do this?
No.
Okay.
Like grandma was an old dog, you had to like throw under a bus somewhere?
Sit down and eat ice cream, and then it just, bam.
From ice cream to murder. 2 easy steps.
Yeah.
Like, and.
Had you ever thought about doing this particular thing to her prior to this? I mean, had you
I've
ever
never thought about
never
doing
thought
this
about
to her, no.
Okay.
But now that I'm laying in there thinking about it, I'm thinking of all the little situations that led me up to this. And I just don't want to be here anymore.
Yikes.
What do you mean by the situations that led you up to this?
Like the dog.
The dog.
And then last night's interview, like I just thought about that. And
Rocky Road's baby
all the
blood.
little things,
Hey, CJ Deb.
And who did you say that was with Social Security?
Yeah. That was the last question they asked me.
That's an odd
Like,
question.
damn.
Heidi?
Like, mental health is such a nebulous term. And the fact that, you know, whatever, maybe it was something she unnecessarily fixated on, but you never know what's going to set someone off. Like when she asked, what would you do with the kid at the pier? And they would drown or whatever, and she ruminated on that.
Yeah.
I sometimes when things leave my mouth, I stop and think, I go, oh my God, is this something that could flip a switch in somebody? And I always, like, if I ever feel that way, I go, I'm just kidding or whatever. I make sure that, but like, if you're like, what would you, I can't imagine being a mental health professional and like doing telemed stuff.
Yeah, because you can't tell. You're on video. Oh no, she was on the phone.
Yeah,
she
she was
wasn't
on
even
the
video.
phone.
So you don't have body language. You can't tell anything but their voice. And
Right, and there are so many weird things about humanity that you can hide from people so easy. And like, especially if you're working for the government, because she said it was based for around Social Security.
Yeah.
So you've got a government employee who doesn't give a shit already to check in and be like, would you let a kid drown? Okay, bye. And then like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Kayla goes, sometimes when things leave my mouth, I think maybe I shouldn't spit in public.
if you got an oyster, you got to let it go.
Ugh.
So now, let me ask you this, okay?
As you're completely breaking down, let me ask you this.
Think you can handle another question about the murder? Like, dude.
Is there anything else that you think I need to know about what that situation happened?
What else could there be, right?
She came down here to tell you.
Okay.
This is the annoying part about the legal system, right? Even if someone's like, I did it, like just throw me in jail, they're still going to have to be put through at least some sort of rigmarole where a public defender has to enter a plea bargain, and there's going to be thousands of dollars and acres of trees cut down to fill out all the paperwork.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh my God, you can't even kill someone and be like, I did it. Throw me away and lock me up, throw away the key.
Yeah.
Can't even do that. You have to go through layer after layer of bureaucracy. Like I think that most people simply don't become criminals because of the bureaucracy and the pain in the ass.
It would
like,
take so much time.
Yeah, like your life would be the DMV.
Yep.
Have you been aggravated with her?
I'm not aggravated with her. I'm aggravated at the situation. She's got her son living next door, and the
What's his name?
And then there's little Lee. She's a matted little brat that's filthy. It's like she goes in and out of the house, and she sits like my grandma as a princess. She was raised as a pretty, pretty princess. Her whole life, she's been well taken care of, wealthy, all those things.
Yeah.
And she's got all this trash that all of a sudden shows up and moves in next door and comes walking in and out of her house, sitting all over shit, and it drives her up the wall. And she can't protect herself. She can't tell them to leave. She can't do anything, and
So,
it drives her crazy. And
If she's a wealthy lady, why couldn't she afford to go to the rehab or to the nursing home like she
That's
wanted?
the thing. None of this narrative is making sense now.
want to like kick everybody out.
Maybe in the old days she was wealthy.
As soon as I leave, they're all right back in, and like the look on his face, he's so proud to do.
Listen, the only right moral argument is the do the right thing, or else you have to live the rest of your life with the DMV. That's just it. It's like, even becoming like a petty criminal, like you become a piece of gum in the gears of the government.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how small your infraction or how big, no matter how smoothly you want to move through it, you can say, whatever, I did it, put me down or whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You're still going to be treated like a number, and you're going to be processed like a package of Chinese socks.
Do that to her. And it's fucking psychotic.
Do you live with anybody?
I live with her other son and my mom on Spring Street, and that's her house, and that
who's your mom?
They've overrun her.
What's your mom's name?
Boop. Okay, yeah. I like that.
It's just, I feel like I'm in hell.
Like, yo.
What's her other son's name, your father's name? And then the house on Spring Street is your grandmother's house.
It's my grandma's house.
Let's really get into the nitty gritty of like geography now.
You live in your grandma's house that she has and owns.
It wasn't lived in for a while, right? Because there's some dogs, right?
There's still dogs everywhere. They have just destroyed the place.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And again, it's just to rub my grandma's face in it. And like I said, she's 198 pounds she weighed yesterday.
So let me ask you this: after you was walking out of the bathroom, what was...
Cut the shit, dude. Like, treat this person like a human being and look her in the face when you at least ask her the last question instead of casually zipping up your portfolio,
right.
You douche.
What was your realization when you walked out of the bathroom?
That she's at peace. That she doesn't have to deal with this shit anymore.
When you say she's at peace, did you have the realization that she was
I
alive?
hope so. I hope so. And I hate that I feel that way. Like, I hate that I feel that way.
Well,
but
no, I understand that, and I'm trying not to get you upset, but when I asked the question that, when you say that you knew that she was at peace, did you understood that she was no longer alive? Is that
I'm just trying to make sure that you and I both understand the legal definition of dead. Like, you killed your grandmother, I understand you're having a bit of a freak out about it, but I need you really to come together with me and agree with me on the legal definition of dead. It's good for the court. I don't like this guy. He's a dick.
No, I don't like him either.
Is that correct?
I hope so.
You hoped so. Okay.
That'll hold water in court.
Yeah.
Was it take or life? Okay. All right. And that was why you took her into the bathroom after she was on, because you didn't...
Dude, like, you got it, right? Like, stop grinding salt into this open wound.
Yeah, she looks like she's going to throw up the way you stopped it. She's like...
This is the thing.
She can't give anything more than she already gave.
That's what's so important about reading the room. You have to be a good human, or being good at being a human, and being able to read a room and see what's going on with the people you are interacting with. This could have gone so much better with so much more finesse, and probably would have netted her a little less psychological trauma.
Right.
Yeah, right. How do you, like... I've seen someone this hysterical when their son was hit in the head with a bat at a baseball game and they were gushing blood.
Mm-hmm.
The only time I've ever seen anything close to this performance. And this dude's like, okay, so then when you killed your grandma, she did what again? And then you did the what? Like, anyways, zip. My phone's ringing again. Sorry. Yeah, honey, I'll pick up Domino's. This guy's a dick.
You didn't want to leave her alive on the couch, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Affirmative.
You didn't want her to suffer. I mean, if she was still alive. I don't know if she was.
And then like the whole look over and be like, yeah, is that it for you? Like that, like this is every fucking terrible job interview you've ever had. Yeah. They just ask you open-ended questions. You try to answer best you can. And then at the end of 25 fucking minutes of pointless, they go, are you good? Yeah, I'm good. And then you never get a call back. She's definitely going to prison though. What year was this? I don't remember. I'm looking to see. I want to say it was
2022.
Okay, so yeah.
November 15, 2022.
Yeah, so this is right on the tail end of COVID. So yeah, there was probably a bunch of pressure, a bunch of family, a bunch of
Well, it seems like nobody else wanted anything to do with her. With
right,
this
and
poor
that's
old
the thing.
lady.
When times are good, not everybody is going to shirk, but like there's people in your family right now, gentle viewer, that are looking for any reason not to hang out with you. And if you're an old lady like this grandma here and there's no reason not to, you can get a fair amount of your family to come check you out and entertain you. But during a pandemic, they were probably like, no way, I don't want a grandma, I'll kill you. But she was so much of a people pleaser or whatever you want to call her that she just dug her own grave and then tossed her grandma in before she made it.
Yep.
It's just like, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's family, a toxic family. It's self-imposed quarantine. It is a small town mentality. It's all of these things coming together that just snapped in the mind of this poor woman. And what can you do about it? It's going to happen because the person who's going to snap may not realize that it's coming, and the person who's going to make them snap is getting their every need met. So why stop the bitch parade? But that's all I got for you. That was it. We saw Heidi Matheny. She went to jail.
She's in life. The pandemic broke a lot of us. It's true. She life in prison and parole. She could be up for parole in 15 years per their state's laws.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like the pandemic broke a lot of us, and it did more than just destroy businesses because there wasn't foot traffic. Like the grandmother probably leaned on Heidi so hard during all the hoopla, and nobody else would say shit to her, that, a toxic family is something that oftentimes you can escape from given age or realization or whatever. But when your only recourse is that,
right?
Like I can't imagine. I don't know what the stats are, but the amount of domestic violence, the amount of drug use, the amount of everything must have gone up because everybody was stuck at home and not able to escape or escaping into the bottle or the whatever.
Yeah. C&J Dev, you're probably right. I mean, I would never want to say you're probably right because she probably will kill herself. But if she's not getting like the proper, she's not getting the proper therapy.
This is one of those things where you want, or at least me, I want some social resources to go into this woman to get her some help.
Yeah.
Like, fine, we all know that Sarah Boone's a dumpster fire. Push it off the edge of a cliff and we'll call it a day. But people like Heidi here have something that can be salvaged.
Yep.
And
even if she makes it through 15 years, she gets out of jail, presumably if they give her parole.
But then
her family's not going to want her.
Not only that, but she's going to be institutionalized and probably have more mental illness than she has now because she's not getting any of the help.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? That's the thing. It's a sad situation, but I thought it was interesting to look at because it feels like a pressure cooker. You think it was, I don't know if it was Jeff Stacy or allegedly somebody else, but we can talk about that another time. Thank you so much for showing up. If you did, I appreciate it, and coming into the typing square. Sorry about that power outage. If you're watching this in the future, hopefully that'll be cut out. But yeah, that's it, guys. Next week, we'll be doing something else fun, something a little less stark and real, maybe something a little like more buffoonish. Then probably Wednesday we'll be playing some games so that your name
can be falling off the.
I'll do it right next time. Sorry, it's a prototype, Kayla. So sorry about that. But Kayla for the win there. She won the game last time. There it is. Thank you so much for coming. Once again, I appreciate all the support, all the watching. Thank you, Dee Dee. You have a good weekend yourself. We are out of here.
Bye.
Bye.
For this